Welcome to Architectural Design with progeCAD. This is creating a simple floor plan. To find links to any downloadable resources available for this video, make sure to check the description box below. For this video, I'll again be using a new drawing, but instead of being totally blank, I've attached a very simple 2D floor plan drawing as an external reference. Of course, you may work from a physical paper drawing, a sketch, or just refer to another drawing file for dimensional information. This is but one method, but it will allow me to e-snap to it. As an XREF, it is faded a bit, and it provides an easy way for me to remove it when I'm done. I'm going to start with the floor slab, so I'll select it from the Draw panel of the AEC ribbon tab. Since this is the first time I've clicked on an AEC tool in this drawing, the Import AEC Family dialog will appear. I'll import the Imperial version. Since I've now imported the Imperial FAM file, I will no longer be prompted to import it. When done, the slab command will continue. Like many 2D commands, the AEC commands present you with various options. I'll be creating a new contour, and I'll accept the 6-inch thickness. Beginning at the lower left corner of our floor plan, I'll use an endpoint e-snap and follow my way around the exterior of our referenced plan. Like most commands, I'll click Enter to end the command and draw the slab. It's hard to see in our 2D top view, so I'll use the view cube to quickly change to Southwest Isometric and zoom in a bit. It's still hard to visualize, so I'll change the visual style to realistic. Now you can more easily see the 6-inch concrete slab. To continue, I'll change back to the top view and 2D wireframe. I'll draw our exterior walls now. Selecting the exterior wall tool from the Walls pull-down, I'll also access its options. I'm fine with everything except for the justification. I'll change it to left so that it will be easier for me to select our outer corner of our reference plan, as long as I go in the correct direction, of course. So I'll go in the same order and direction as I did when creating the slab. Again, I'll change my view and visual style to show better the new exterior walls. And again, I'll go back to our 2D top view. I'll draw the interior walls now, following the same left justified workflow as the exterior walls. To speed things up a little, I'll draw a couple and then skip forward to the completed work. Once again, I'll change the views to better reflect the design so far. Now, we all know that during the design process, things change. So far, I've used the supplied generic wall styles, but what happens when the architect comes back and tells you that the exterior walls should be a 4-inch stud with a 2-inch air gap, sheathing, and a brick veneer? You certainly don't want to erase it and redraw. There is an easy fix for this. I've temporarily unloaded the reference file to aid in the object selection, and I've selected all of the exterior walls. Looking now at the Properties palette, in the Geometry section, the first entry is Style. I'll expand that list to see all available styles. This is where the import function is important. I'll select the correct style from the list. And, just like that, my exterior walls take on the materials and components of the selected style. I'll zoom in a bit to show you the nice brickwork we've added. This is a good time to demonstrate the different levels of detail that are being displayed. Down on the status bar, you'll find an icon that reads Medium Detail. I'll right-click on it to display its menu. These are all the different detail views that you can choose from. I'll select Low Detail, and you'll see our bricks change to a less detailed style. In larger models, if you're having trouble with displaying the graphics efficiently, you might want to consider switching to a detail level that doesn't tax your graphics system as much. Moving forward, I'll switch back to Medium Detail and zoom to Extents. So far, our design looks a bit more like a prison than it does a residence. Some windows and doors will help a lot. I'll put a few of each in to demonstrate that workflow, and then use the magic of video editing to see our model with all the windows and doors inserted. Let's put in the front door. I'll switch to the southeast isometric using the view cube. I'll also reload the reference file via the command line and zoom in a bit to where the front door is. Making note of the dimensions from the reference file, I'll select single door from the door pull-down menu. Remember, these are smart objects. A wall knows that it can host doors, and a door knows that it needs a wall to host it. The first prompt then is to select the wall that the door is going to go into. Next, I specify the insertion point and swing direction. As usual, I'll press Enter to end the insertion. It's a good practice to check an object's properties to make sure it's created correctly. Here I can see that it came in as a 3-foot wide door. I'll change that to 3 foot 2 inch as specified in the reference file dimension. In this imaginary project, I know that I've inserted this door as a placeholder. This isn't the door that the owner has specified. They've ordered a fancy custom door. A teammate may be creating the custom door style based on the manufacturer's specs, and once it's done, I'll import it and change the style similar to what I did with the exterior walls. This type of workflow is very common. Get your elements into the model and change them afterwards if necessary. I'll put in a few windows now. I'll choose Double Hung from the pull-down menu and use an endpoint E-snap to click on the corner of the yellow 2D window block. The command continues to let you keep adding, so I'll do the same on the window next to it. Finally, I'll press Enter to end the command. Let's do another one. This time, I'll expand the Picture Window section and choose Arch Picture Window. Again, I'll snap to the window block and place the window. It's not as wide as it needs to be, so I'll select it and change its width in the Properties palette to 5 feet 6 inches. I'm going to fast forward now to the model with all doors and windows added. My door and windows example showed me working in a 3D view, but you don't have to. Sometimes there's an advantage to using your top view. I'll return to the top view via the view cube and use the 2D wireframe visual style. Zooming into the back door, you notice that it swings inward. Sometimes it's not easy to discern the dynamic grips for a component in 3D. It can even be a challenge to get it placed in the correct orientation to begin with. Don't be afraid to go back to the 2D plan for these scenarios. I'll select the AEC door and the action grips are well defined. I'll click the flip arrow to change the swing orientation. I'll return to the southeast isometric view and reset to realistic for the next step. It's time to add a roof slab. I'll click the icon in the menu and select corners just like I did for the concrete slab. Again, I'll fast forward to its finished state. There's one last step, and that's to add a roof. Before I click on it, I'm going to isolate the roof slab just to make my endpoint E-snaps a little easier. This time, I'll start on the southeast corner and work clockwise. Notice that the tool begins drawing the roof after the third point is selected. It will update with all subsequent points. When I get all of the corners selected, I'll press Enter to end the command. And of course, I'll unisolate the roof slab. I'll make a couple of modifications to this basic roof. I'll select it, and from the Properties palette, I'll change the overhang from 0 to 1 foot. I'll also change the roof slope from the default of 45 degrees to 30. I'll detach the 2D floor plan via the command line, and my model is complete. I'll be using this model in the next video, so I'll save it as aecfloorplan.dwg. You can find out more information, download their 30-day free trial, or purchase your own progeCAD license at www.progecad.com.